Uh, Today we're gonna present lowest problem in Japan, and this is our team member, Nicholas, Numat, Andy, and me, Sakura. And this is our table of contents, starting from introduction, followed by attempt to solve the problem, unsuccessful attempt analysis, and what we would have done. So first, I would like to clarify the problem statement and backgrounds. Okay, so what is the significant problem if the country has low birth rate? First problem is workforce decline. It leads the country to face a challenge in maintaining economic productivity. Second one is aging population problem. So look at this graph. This is a graph of ratio of people aged more than 65 supported by people aged 15 to 64. On 1965, 10.8 working age people need to support one elderly age people. But on 2021, 2.1 working age people need to support one elderly age people. Also, Japanese people aged 20 to 59 years old need to pay national pension. The main problem in here is the amount they pay is increased, but the amount they receive later is decreased. So it is obvious the strain on working age people get higher and higher. So what led Japan to this situation? Let's analyze these three data and see how the economic boom period from the post-World War II era to the early 1970s and family planning relates. So first one is fertility rate in Japan. From the post-World War II era to the early 1970s, there is a significant declining in the fertility rates. Also, we can say this period is a trigger of low birth rate in Japan. So why economic boom periods leads decline of Japan birth rate? The era of primary industry agriculture, the larger family will benefit. But with the changes in industry, the larger families is less benefit. It's because as the country becomes richer, the standard of living and access to education increase. With higher living standard, the cost of raising children increase. It leads families to decide to have fewer children to provide them with better opportunity, better education. So what about the marriage rate? Economic boom increase needs a larger workforce, increasing the participation of women, and women also start pursuing their own careers and education. And it suggests family planning, which means delay in marriage rate and decrease in the fertility rates. Of course, by decreasing number of marriage and children per woman, the family size gets smaller as well. Okay, so now let's focus on the current data. From 2020 until now, Japan birth rate keep decreasing, and the current birth rate for Japan in 2024 is less than 7 births per 1,000 people, and this is really low. What about the ranking of birth rate? And this is the sample countries, and Japan is ranked by 212. And according to the World Factbook, Taiwan is the lowest, and followed by Southeast Korea. As we can see, not only Japan, but whole East Asia has similar problems.
Attempts to solve the problem with the low birth rate in Japan. First is the government initiatives. In the past, Japan has implemented various policies to address the low birth rate, and this includes financial incentives such as child allowance, tax benefit for families with children, subsidies for childcare services, and so on. And over the past decade, the government has rapidly enhanced parental leave benefits such that new mothers can receive from 50 to 67% of their regular payment, while on leave compared to just 25% in 2000s. And here's the first childcare allowance when the Japan's birth rate in the rapid decline. Before 2007, for the first and second children, they could get 1,000 Taiwan dollars, which means 10,000 yen. And after 2000, they double the amount. And before 2007, for the third and additional children, they could get 1,000 Taiwan dollars, and after 2000 it still remained unchanged. And there was limitations based on the family income, and here we can see the table of the income limit for the number of dependents, which are the children, and the family total income per month. And next is the childcare allowance for the 2023, which are the present policies. Under 3 years old, they can get 3,000 per month and per child. And 3 years from 3 years old to the age of before completing of primary school, they can get 2,000 per child. For the third and onwards, they can get 3,000 Taiwan dollars. For the junior high school students, they can get 2,000 per child, and there's still limitations based on the family income. But for those families who exceed the income limit, can still get 1,000 per month. And present days efforts continue to focus on the financial incentives and support for the families. Childcare allowance have been increased, and there are some ongoing discussions about extending parental leave and improving childcare service. And one big step from the Japan government, Prime Minister of Japan, Fumio Kishida, has allocated 6.3 trillion yen, which are 250 million US dollars, which are huge money, during a 3-year target period starting from 2023, and doubling this amount of money by early 2030. And this huge amount of money will spend to support families with children in every aspects of their life. And next important sector is the private sectors and community. Many businesses in Japan have implicated family-friendly policies such as flexible working hours, telecommuting options, which are online option, and on-site childcare facilities. And accordingly, with the government policies, women in Japan can get up to 2-year maternity leave, while men can take up to 1 year. In 2023, of nearly 500 Japan's major companies have surveyed by the Reuters, and out of 94% say they felt sense of crisis when asked about the annual births. And as my teammate mentioned, annual births had dipped below for 800,000 for the first time in 2023, which is 8 years earlier than expected. And next one is the community-based programs. Various community-based programs support young families by providing access to affordable housing, healthcare services, educational opportunities, and recreational activities for children, and so on. And these programs foster a sense of community and help facilitate some of the challenges faced by parents. And despite these efforts, there is several barriers to increase the labor rate. And there's a challenge in implementation. So first is the cultural challenges. Uh, in Japan's social norms and expectations regarding marriage and uh, parenthood in the to balance the work and life. And next one is the unwritten social rules. For the fathers to take the parental leave. And next one is the heavy burden on mothers to balance their childcare responsibilities with their career. And for the economic challenges, we have aging population and shrinking workforce. So to balancing the need for the workforce participation and family support requires the innovative approach to policymaking and social welfare programs.
Follow up, I'm going to talk about unsuccessful attempts. Japan, known as its low marriage rate as well as low birth rate, in Asian culture, these two have corresponding relationship. Japanese government tried to implement several strategies, including matchmaking and marriage counseling,
However, it was unsuccessful because Japanese people have career focused independent life. Moreover, people often get married in their older age. It has huge contribution to infertility rate. Next one is apparently financial incentives, including cash, tax break, and other subsidies. In fact, Japan has one of the most generous paid paternity leave globally. In spite of those incentives, it was unattractive because of high annual wage and huge living expense. Thirdly, childcare burden, which is part of the government subsidies. In densely populated area like Tokyo and Osaka, it is still insufficient. And furthermore, childcare sectors occasionally short staffed, which exacerbates this situation. Next one is gender inequality, which is one of the controversial topic in East Asia. Male role more dominant, and men earn more than women. Thus, these days, women choose to pursue professional career instead of end up as a housewife. In man's perspective, when women bear child, they become breadwinner of the family, which is enough burden in one person's shoulder. Finally, regarding to those information and my own experience, I'm originally from developing country with small population, but with consistent growing rate. In our culture, child is happiness, blessing from God. However, country like Japan, where have vast amount of opportunity and high income rate, also high living expense, people rather live peaceful and worry-free life. To follow up, I'm going to explain about lost decade and this one. Before this one, after World War II, which means 1945, Japan experienced economic miracle, which means average GDP growth was uh, about 9.6%, and this miracle continued about 4 decades. And starting from 1991, they experienced economic slowdown, which was only GDP growth was only 0.5%, and this huge gap caused big consequences in the society, including banking crisis, deflation, economic bubble, and unemployment. In during that time, whole generation of university graduates had huge challenge to find employment because of the frozen economic, and that generation is called lost generation. And even from now, um, many Japanese families say they didn't fully recover, and probably they have still fear. And ne- and summary of extra thoughts. Fear of uncertainty for a family in making is apparent for both genders, and we can summarize for only three main factors: economic factors, financial problem for raising children; secondly, social factor, pressure from the social; and the last one, political factor, lack of support from the government.
So right now I'm going to talk about the solution we will do for preventing Japanese low birth rate. So we have two solutions, which is religion and education. So the reason why I choose these two is because no matter what the government do, financially support us financially or economically, if our belief system is still the same, nothing will change. So some Japanese people maybe think that having kid is hard or it takes a lot of their free time or much more. So yeah, so I choose these two to change their belief system as a human. And started from religion, I'm gonna compare these three countries: Israel, Nigeria, and Japan. So started as we can see in the data here, in Nigeria are there's 98% of people consider themselves as a religious person, and in Israel is 93.6, and in Japan is 37%. And the children per woman in Nigeria is 5.2, in Israel is 2.9, and in Japan 1.3. Both Israel and Japan is a developed country, and while Nigeria is a developing country. So there's many reasons why I choose Nigeria and Israel is because, as I mentioned before, both of the country is a religious country, and in Nigeria they have a belief as a Muslim that having kids is a bless, and also they will feel bad or dilemma if they use contraceptive. And in Israel they have moderate to high birth rate, which is it's good. And the reason why they have moderate to high birth rate is because of this Haredi woman that use all black, and this kind of woman have average 7 children per woman, and their religion or their belief is as their religion is ultra orthodox, which is really strict on their religion, and that's why they can commit to have 7 children. And both Israel and Nigeria is pronatalist, uh, which means that they believe that having kids is important and it's good to have kids. But in Japan, only 37% who have religion, so the other 63 they don't have any belief or a thinking that why having kid is important or it's good to have kid. And if I'm not mistaken, also in Christianity or Muslim, we have a belief that having kid is a bless and it's a gift from God. So I also wanna clarify one more thing is because in Nigeria, even though they have high birth rate, but they have high criminality because there are lack of education. So the second things I wanna suggest is the to change the education system so that things like what happened in Nigeria doesn't happen in other country. So as we all know, what happened in Japan in World War II. So, but what I wanna talk now is the before and after the education system that changed in Japan before World War II and after World War II. So before World War II, Japan is highly nationalistic and they also focus on promoting peace. Focus on promoting military service and their traditional value. Also, only certain of people who can access high school or junior high school. And after World War II, it really changed a lot. So they start promoting democratic and peace, and also emphasize the moral attitude of the people, and also they reject militaristic or ultra nationalistic ideologies. And now everyone can access elementary until high school, and also they have an opportunity to go to college if they have money. So why I talk the history of Japan education system is because this is the one that changed Japan economy. Before, after World War II, they adopt the American style of education system, and the economic also start increasing because more educated people. That means more innovation and invention, and more invention means that the economic will grow. But I want to talk about the sex education program between these three countries: Netherlands, Japan, and America. So started from America, only some part of people who can get informed about the sex education. And also in America, they only talk about biological aspect without considering the consent between each people or the relationship between each other. And also they still have traditional value about male and female. The effect of this is, of course, they have high sexual transmitted disease, and also they are less satisfied about sex experience. And in Netherlands, they got teach sex education since they were 4 years old. Progressively, as they get older, the level of the sex education program will increase, and they don't only focus on biological aspect, but they also focus on the relationship, consent between each people, gender role, gender equality, and sexual diversity. And in Netherlands, both male and female have their important role in romantic decision or romantic relationship, not only from male side or female side, but it's both of them role to have romantic relationship or this decision making. And the effect of this is which make Netherlands people feel more secure and safer about sex decision or their relationship with each other. And last one is of course Japan. Japan is kind of similar like America. They have the same sex education system, which is only talk about biological aspect, but they don't talk about the consent between each people, the gender role or sexual diversity like Netherlands, and they also don't cover about pregnancy, and they also lack of knowledge about their private zone. So the effect of this is that the effect of this cause Japan has many abortion cases in 2019, 150,000 cases of abortion, and also many sexual harassment happen even before we go into junior high school, or even before we go to high school already many sexual harassment happen in Japan because they don't. So my suggestion for the government to do is that to teach the sex education to the people in Japan since they were kids, adopting the Netherlands education system program, so that they also know about their gender role, their gender equality, the consent between each people, and the relationship between each other, and also their they are more satisfied about sex, and they don't do that much abortion, and many sexual harassment happen. And so this is the calculation for Japanese people after they adopt religion, which is 2.4, and it's kind of a good percentage because in a country at least we need 2.1 children per woman, and Japan now have 2.4 after they adopt religion. I think that's all from our team. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.